Hi there, Anthony here again. And we're going to record another voiceover for season 3 of the RVers. First, I'd like to talk about a couple of comments that we got on the first voiceover video that we put out. Thank you very much to those who watched it. Hope you enjoyed it, and to the people who commented. Thank you very much for taking the time. Jim commented that he's embarking on a bit of a journey himself. So congratulations and good luck on that. Mike has some really good advice. Make sure the brain is engaged before putting mouth in gear. I responded that that's really just good life advice, really. And John asked if this is a standing desk that I'm at. And while I'm not a particularly tall person, this isn't a regular desk. Otherwise, it'd be, up to my neck almost. This is a standing desk, and I have it in our voiceover studio here in my home. It's also where my band has rehearsed on a few occasions, Wicked Truth. We've performed at some RV parks and RV functions, including some for the Escapers. And so we hope to see you again on the road, and you get to enjoy some, I think, terrific music. And I think the people who enjoy the band think so too. But yeah, so I put up some sound deadening material all around where I actually do the voiceover. Right behind me here is a practice drum kit. My show kit is in a bunch of bags ready to be set up at a show. And if you've ever seen our band perform, the drums themselves are quite an attraction. They're like nothing you've really ever seen before. So yeah. So anyway, back to the voiceover thing. I think it's going to work out pretty good. It's going to be an insight for you folks to communicate with me any way you like, really. I mean, I invite comments via email, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I particularly like the YouTube comments because you kind of get to see me, and then you get to make a comment, and I respond to them right away. So I don't know. I find that that's a little bit more personal feeling because there's actually me there that you, I don't know, maybe feel like you're communicating with a little bit more directly. So I'd encourage you to maybe try that. But again, I really appreciate the comments that we've received, and I look forward to doing more of these videos and providing a little bit more background on how we do the show and how we select segments for the show, which actually brings us to what this voiceover is about. This is for a segment that we're doing that we're calling Non-RVers Becoming RVers. And it's an interesting story about a really terrific person a sponsor of the show from Battleborn Batteries, the president of the company, Sean Nichols, who I had the really good fortune to meet at an industry event in Tucson hosted by Dometic, another sponsor of the show, called Dometic in the Desert. And this is really a meeting of the minds in the RV industry to communicate with representative RVers, of which I was honored to be considered one of them, to provide insight on how the RV industry can accommodate RVers and their needs moving forward. And that was what Dometic in the Desert was all about. And the reason that event took place, and the reason people like Sean from Battleborn Batteries and many, many other representatives and leaders from companies that are mindful of having to evolve RVing into into this century, quite honestly, because I mean, RVing largely hasn't changed very much over the course of decades and decades and decades and decades. And these thought leaders in the RV industry recognize that technology is moving so quickly and lifestyles are changing so rapidly nowadays that you can't be doing things that the way you did it in 1970, because that's preposterous when there's so many better and more efficient ways to do it. And that's what these industry leaders are really wanting to get together and really revolutionize RVing. And really, they're doing it. It's really quite spectacular the kind of things that are in the future of RVing. But anyway, this brings me back to my having actually met and sat down and talked to and had dinner with Sean Nichols from Battleborn Batteries, and he is a terrific, terrific, terrific guy. And Dennis from Battleborn Batteries, his partner, is a simple genius. I mean, the kind of stuff that they do with the gumption that Sean has, and just the sheer brain power that Dennis has. Anything they do is going to be just mind-blowingly spectacular. So the fact that they were involved with this Dometic in the Desert thing, and Dometic has monster plans to really take a leadership role in bringing RVing forward a lot. Really, really big steps. So Sean called me out of the blue, really enthusiastic, and he said, Anthony, I'm getting an RV. And I was a little surprised. It's like, that's amazing. Why are you telling me? I mean, I'm honored. I'm honored. But like, of all the people, he knows so many people in RVing. He probably could have told a million people. He may have told a million people. He told me I was one of the first. And that I was so taken aback by that. I was honored. I was humbled. So thank you so, so much, Sean, for sharing that incredible news with me so soon after it became news. And again, me being the get down to business kind of guy, my wheels started turning as soon as he told me. A lot of people who work in the RV industry or in peripheral RV related industries don't actually RV. Seems crazy, right? But if you think about it, do you like to take your work home with you? I mean, I do because I'm an all business guy. I'm a kind of a nut, but so I mean, Sean is the kind of guy who knows a lot of RVers, engages with a lot of RVers, does a lot of stuff with very closely a lot of RVers, but himself was not an RVer. So finally, he decided to take the plunge, as all of us have at one point in time when we weren't RVers and we became RVers. So again, my wheels got turning on that, and I thought, wouldn't this be a great segment for a show? This is about Sean and Sean's story, and like so many other people who have a similar story, they don't RV. They're familiar with it. They want to. I think this segment is a very, very important segment, a very heartwarming segment, a very inspiring segment. So let's get going and record this. I'm all set to go here. And I'm going to hit record and mention on the recording that I am also filming this for YouTube. So I look forward to having this as a video on YouTube. Okay, so let's get to the non-RVers segment, voiceover. Over the course of our travels while making the RVers, we've met so many people who have a hand in supporting the RV industry. In many ways, they're immersed in this world. Don't like how I said that.
In this world, robotic sounding.
In many ways, they're immersed in this world, and yet... Okay. In many ways, they're immersed in this world. And yet, we've been surprised to learn time and time again that the majority of people who work in the RV industry or in an industry that supports RVing are not RVers themselves. Over the course of our travels while making the RVers, we've met so many people who have a hand in supporting the RV industry. In many ways, they are immersed in this world, and yet we've been surprised to learn time and time again that the majority of the people who work in the RV industry or in an industry that supports RVing are not RVers themselves. As too much breath at the beginning. As much as Sean caters to, works close. Well, Sean what? Okay. Well, Sean, it would also be ready for play. Okay, maybe. Interesting. It's just changing. I'm just changing everything.
Read the words.
Yeah. There are certain to be things in and around, in and around, in and around, in and around. You'll get it. Okay. Well, that was good. Last paragraph. While Sean was fortunate, thanks for sharing not only doing the VO, but this, I think, very important opportunity with us. And listen, like, subscribe, and most importantly, comment. I'd love to hear what you think about what we're doing. Even though you haven't seen the segment, you've got I think, just by hearing this, you've got a sense of where the segment's going and the message we're trying to convey. What's your story? Share some of your messages. Tell us what your first experience was like, even if it's just a few words. Were you nervous? Were you excited? Did you have what do they call it? Buyer's remorse? What was your first initial experience? Were you wide-eyed? Were you scared when you went behind the wheel for the first time? Were you terrified? Let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear what your experience was like, and I'll respond to you in the comments as well. So thanks for being part of this, and we'll see you on the next one.